I wanted to talk about an update on the law that is sending people to jail for posts. I think that Elon should get on this. I think the Free Speech Union should get on this. In George Orwell's 1984, Big Brother, we didn't know he was Australian. Because in the Australia,
yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. In the fascist dictatorship of Australia, they're not even, if there are guys, going around, committing actual crimes, if the Apex gang comes and, does the knockout game on you, the police don't come. Yeah. But you can go to jail for posting because they care about hurt feelings. And specifically, the kind of jail you can go to for posting is if you post about breaking your car on purpose by driving it really fast.
In the future dystopian Australia, it's illegal to be a sick cunt. Cul-de-sacs are now battlefields.
Yeah, so there have been a rash of new hooning and posting laws.
Oh, beautiful. Don't hoon and post. You can do one or the other.
Yeah. So Roger Cook revealed that Western Australia Labor would introduce new laws criminalizing the circulation of videos showing hooning, violence, property damage, and other criminal behavior.
It makes sense. You wouldn't want to glorify hooning,
Yeah. Well, for me, this is like, that there's that old meme of they outlaw our medicine, so we buy their cures.
Yeah.
It's like if we buy their cures, it's just like a speed limit sign.
Yeah. They should do like a Jason Statham movie where it's like a guy who had to give up hooning because of the new rules and regulations, and he's got like a wife and a kid, and he's driving a minivan, but then something happens, and he has to hoon to save his family.
You're talking about the Australian transporter. That's just the transporter Australia.
The transporter.
Oh, that's right. There we go.
The transperther.
Jaso Stathos, the transporter.
Yeah, I would love that.
Turns out there's a Sheila in the trunk.
Running his hands across an old Holden Monaro in his garage. It's been a long time.
Gone in 60 seconds. It's just like fucked off in 60 seconds.
Yeah. But it's still there in 60 seconds, but in a lot of tyre smoke.
In a slightly different orientation in 60 seconds.
Yeah.
It's there in 60 seconds with a lot of tire smoke and then engine non-functional.
Going in circles for about 60 seconds, the new movie.
I've been trying to steal that 1997 Holden Commodore 5 years.
It's impossible to steal. You can't get it to start.
I've hooked a PlayStation controller up to
The interior's all fucking melted. It's disgusting in there.
So, South Australian police have charged a 29-year-old man, this is an example of this law, for dangerous driving and extreme speeding after the hoon posted footage of his antics on social media, with police alleging the man uploaded footage of himself driving a Ford Falcon at 180 kilometers per hour.
Yeah.
There's something really offensive about these kinds of laws to me, right? Because what they're doing is they're interfering with a beautiful tradition of knocking on yourself by posting video of your own crimes. Like, if the post itself is a crime, it's really like, it's spoiling the game,
Yeah, it's inconsistent that the Australian government condemns this and yet supports the IDF, who are the kings of posting evidence of their own crime.
If you're hooning, but you're wearing like stolen women's clothing, then you kind of like averages out,
I like a lot of the guys that are hooning do so with Mexican flags. A lot of the hooning, gangs.
Okay.
A lot of the hooning gangs are called like South Brisbane Mexican outlaws, and all of them are white Australian.
Okay. With a Juarez cartel.
Yeah.
Your Honour, does the Australian Constitution not protect the institution of being a sick cunt? And furthermore, if you are in the process of being a sick cunt, what would be the purpose of so doing if you're not allowed to film yourself?
Going to getting Mexican like consular representation, like as a white Australian having been arrested in Australia.
So I just do me a favor. Go to MexicanHoonCartel.com, and then there is like
that feels like a Twitter screen name rather than a thing.
The first thing that's there is again a white Australian guy in a balaclava and a bucket hat wearing the Mexican flag as a cape.
This fucking rules.
Yeah, well, this is also the Australian conception of race. We can be like, oh, mate, I'm Greek, which is like an different type of Mexican.
No, but that's the thing. I told you I was fucking Mexican today. But that's not even why. It's because they think of Mexico as like the Wild West and outlaw cowboy.
Well, it's the original, the Hoon homeland. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
You can buy merch from the Mexican Hoon cartel, which is just a bunch of white Australian kids who live in the Gold Coast.
All right, so next live show when we're all wearing this.
Yeah.
Just all in Mexican flags, bucket hats, and people are getting mad at us. And I'm like, no, you should be mad at us if you're a white suburbanite who lives in like Toowoomba.
Can I expense a balaclava and a bucket hat?
Almost certainly.
Actually, you know what? If you ever get brought up on it, you can refer to this episode. And yeah, we now can all...
Greetings to the HMRC inspector who is listening to this, trying to figure out why we have a Mexican flag line item in all of our tax returns.
Why we have Mexican flags for each of us.
The Mexican Hoon cartel balaclava is now making me think of a very interesting concept, which is the Mexican Hoon IRA. like the voice changer phone call, which is like, you need to evacuate the following streets. There's going to be a hooning incident in 35 minutes.
I think this is like a very important, I would go as far as to sort of say that like defending these guys is effectively, it is very much a test case of whether we want to defend the West or not. And it's very surprising that like none of the figureheads of the free speech movement have really sort of said anything about him, because the integrity of freedom of speech in the West, and by extension democracy, is very much dependent on that question of, would you defend to the death the right for white Australians pretending to be Mexican to like trash up cars for some reason and post it online? Right.
This is like a real litmus test. Do you look upon this man with contempt or respect?
And if your answer is not with respect, if there's anything other than like without respect, then like, I don't know, you may as well join ISIS.
That's right. Like whenever I watch videos, and I do watch videos of the Summer Nats Burnout Festival, I see guys with mullets wearing Mexican flag capes, crashing their cars into each other, hitting their heads together, and then saying, "Oh, fucking sick cunt." And I stand up and I salute my phone.
I hate guys being guys. I feel like that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, if we want to fix the crisis of masculinity, we need to like embrace the hoon.
We have said that for a very long time. Yeah, why
Embrace the hoon respectfully.
Why haven't all these like fucking YouTube masculinity guys who all have like the same looking podcast, why aren't they speaking to any of the hoons? It's all just like fucking like testosterone, Andrew Huberman, I only like bathe in ice water type of fucking
what
guys.
About Andrew Hoonerman?
Exactly. Why not Andrew Hoonerman?
Yeah, respect this hoon.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, this is the official TF plan for fixing the masculinity crisis. Is everybody who's currently trying to figure out what it means to be a man and is landing on the answer of whatever I imagined the 50s was like, we're fixing them by importing en masse 1990s Holden Commodores.
Here's an idea for a shirt, and it's a picture of former UK Defence Secretary Jeff Hoon, and he's in like a Holden doing a burnout, and it's like Jeff Hoon says, "We did the Iraq War, but only because we needed the petroleum byproducts for sick shit."
I think there's the germ of an idea in there that's a shirt that in the world of 8 billion people, excuse me, about 200 will get, and 100% of those people are listening to this right now.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. The crossover of people in the UK who appreciate Australian burnout culture was 100% created by us. I don't care if it's not right. I don't care if there's evidence to the contrary.
Morally, it's true.
And those people are the 1% males. They are the high value males that society has been searching for.
Yeah, it's like they're the 1%, but it's like the 1%er outlaw biker gangs. All right. The last thing is the last hoon story before we move on. How do we do 20 minutes on hooning? A former private school student turned hoon who has lived a privileged life free of consequence.
Oh my God, wrong side of the tracks.
Well, it was wrong side, then right side, then wrong side, then right side, and he just kept spinning.
Yeah.
And then the fucking train came through. Lived a privileged life free of consequences, could soon face jail time as he filmed himself speeding in luxury cars and leaving them to drive themselves on cruise control. The court heard that Sushant Mittal and his twin brother
them free,
regularly filmed themselves hooning around in like Mercedes AMGs and BMWs bought by their parents before sharing the footage to TikTok under the name Sushi on Fire.
Sushi on Fire is a very funny screen. Shouldn't you be really doing like Japanese tuner cars if your screen name is Sushi on Fire?
You want to call Sushant Mittal?
Yeah, I think I should.
You want to be his representation? You want to get magician's privilege with him?
Showing up as the magician and being like, listen.
Yeah, and at the start of every video, you say, like, let's cook this sushi before setting fire to the tires of your Toyota Supra.
Look,
Yeah.
if he had these kinds of good ideas, maybe he wouldn't be in jail.
That is true.
Yeah.
that
Hard
is
to
true.
argue
It's,
with.
the smart hoons don't get caught.
Maybe he'd be mayor. By criminalizing hooning, all we're doing is enabling smart hoons to do it with impunity.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mattel's lawyer claimed in his defense that he was, quote, kind of an idiot.
I love those statements in defense. Those are the best ones. It was like when Wayne Hennessy did a Nazi salute and the manager of his club said, Wayne doesn't know what the Nazis are. He doesn't understand any of that stuff.